Hello and welcome back to another video from me, FPL Crusader. Call me Luke if you want. Today we're looking at some transfer plans for the upcoming Double Game Week 25 and also looking a bit further towards 29 and beyond. 29 is obviously a big blank. A lot of people are doing their free hits there. I'm hoping personally to get through without having to use a chip. As you might have known, I've used quite a lot of chips lately, but today we're focusing primarily on Double Game Week 25. Because the results overnight have given us almost I shouldn't say 100% guarantee, almost a guarantee that Double Game Week 25 will be Liverpool and Villa will have the doubles. As we saw, Newcastle, they've had a good season, pretty good season, you'd think, but I wouldn't say it's been amazing. They're on the right track now. However, they owned Arsenal the first two legs. They won 2-0 in each leg. Newcastle does not, playing in the final does not equate to a double game week at any stage. It's just due to their fixtures, you don't need it. I think that's to do with your European fixtures, which they haven't fared too well in recently. Whereas if Arsenal won, that would be a double. But that's off the table now. So 4-0 to Newcastle. Congratulations. They've got a real chance at getting a trophy. And all they have to do is dominate Liverpool, which is no easy feat. But on their day, they can play attacking football against anyone. Hopefully, their defense can contain the Liverpool attack. If, like me, you have the 3 Newcastle assets, it might be time to move off them. Specifically, Anthony Gordon, if you've got him. I've got Gordon. I'm probably looking to bring in Kleiber or Mbuemo from this week. I'm not really sure if I can do both. I might bring in Rodgers purely for the double and then bang him out for one of the 2 previously mentioned players, but I'm not really sure what to do there. But congratulations to Newcastle, you're through to the final. Ange. I live in Australia. Everyone loves Ange here, but boy, I feel sorry for the guy. They went into this 1-0 up. They lost 4-0 in that particular game. Lost 4-1 on aggregate. He just can't catch a break, poor Ange. And no one from Spurs can catch a break for the last, I don't know, when did Poch leave? Just doesn't feel like it's going to be their season. They're in 15th. They haven't got European football next year. Spurs, and the chances are they won't be getting a trophy this season to push them into Europe. So it'll make their transfer window in the summer particularly difficult. With teams like Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest potentially having European football and could almost get the same amount of funding. I know Spurs, in terms of revenue generated, are still way up there compared to everyone else. I mean, they're top 5, top 6 in the league, but that's streaks ahead of most of the teams below them and above them on the table. So they've still got that buying power, but it's whether or not the players are happy just to sit in the Premier League or if they want that European exposure. That being said, it could be I'm not going to say rebuilding because I think they've got a half-decent squad, but it could be a season where they can just focus on domestic football and really charge up that ladder, which I think will be very interesting for next season. But for now, Liverpool will be in the final. They played really well, 4 goals. You can't sneeze at that. Who knows who's going to win in the final, but that's irrelevant right now. As we know, this is from FPL team up the top, the fixture ticker. As we know, Wolves and Aston Villa for Liverpool in game week 25, which starts in about a week by the time you're watching this, a week and a bit. So this is the last 6 game weeks for everyone that's not Mo Salah in terms of who you would want to bring in for the Liverpool double game week. Again, if you don't already have 3. A lot of people will do for last week. And this week, sorry, it's still going. They're playing Everton. But for those that don't, here's a bit of an idea. As you can see, I've done the goals, assists, XA, XGI, blah, 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 bonus. And then I've used the ICT index as well. And it's pretty much a clean sweep from Cody Gakpo. He was the first one to score again against Spurs this morning. And in the last 6, he has 7 returns. His XGI is 4.27. He's got 6 bonus. And he's a definite threat. Diaz has been very disappointing lately. So if you had an idea of going to Diaz, I would suggest a punt on Szoboszlai if you wanted another midfielder to support Mo Salah. Szoboszlai still done very well. He looked very interesting in the first game of this game week recently. He scored a goal, but he was playing far more forward than I'd seen him in previous games. Alexis McAllister, we know he loves a double game week. He's got 2 in a row. He's got 4 assists in the last 6. His XGI is right up there, as is creativity. And Trent, obviously, his XA is always going to be there. He's just not getting the returns this season. For whatever reason, he's not getting the returns. Considering Mo is going crazy this season, the fact that Trent isn't getting anything in return or isn't getting anything at the end of his passes is must be frustrating for him. Maybe that's why he's potentially going to Madrid. I don't see that really changing when he gets to Madrid, to be honest. He'll just be part of another Galactico team, but why wouldn't you? If you've won everything at Liverpool, you don't really need to prove yourself anymore. Why not go to play with the best team in world football history? As a Barcelona fan, that's tough to say, but realistically, it's the truth. If you can't afford Trent or want a differential, I guess you can go Virgil van Dijk. The issue with him is you need clean sheets. If he gets clean sheets, he might get a bonus. He can slate his big head on a corner, hopefully from Trent, and then he might get a goal. But realistically, it's Gakpo, it's Trent, it's Salah. That's where most people will go. I didn't put Alisson on here because of they're a bit leaky at the back, so that the clean sheets aren't really going to come, I don't believe, especially against Everton. I wouldn't mind betting Everton score at least 1 goal against them. I don't really think Everton will win. But my other point is here, as you can see in Game Week 26, they've got City away. City aren't what they used to be. I still think Liverpool will win, but City are a changing team. They've just spent the most in the summer transfer window ever, I believe. So hopefully Gonzalez can come in and solidify their midfield, be a perfect test for him to play against the best team in the league. If you had a Virgil van Dijk or a Szoboszlai against away to City, you could argue that's not a bad one to bench them for. But their fixtures don't get too much better after that too. So it'll just have to be a 1-week punt. I'll leave that up to you. I'll show you my team later. I don't have either of them, but I do have one player that's probably going to come out of the team very soon. Let's have a look at Aston Villa. As we know, they've got a double game week this week. So guys, XA, XG charts. I've also got the ticker down the bottom. We can see they're at home this week in Game Week 25. They're at home to Ipswich and Liverpool. Then they've got Chelsea at home. 3 home games in a row. That being said, they're still leaky. So I've completely eradicated all defenders because I just don't think they're going to go very well. They also blank in 29. So if you're going to bring in the likes of, as we can see down the bottom there, Morgan Rogers. He's also the cover star of this video. I got Jacob Ramsey there as well. Daniel Malen, he's just come over from Borussia Dortmund. We'll have a little focus on him soon. And also Marcus Rashford as well. We can look at the XAs. Yuri Tillemans' is expected assists is very high, considering he doesn't get a lot of returns, but he's a good little 8. A really smart buy for them a couple of years ago. Rogers is second. Luca Dean, the troll, is there. So is Bailey, but Bailey's not playing that well. Ramsey's there. Only at 1.5, but he's playing very well. Watkins really, concerningly, is 1.39. He had a huge season last year in terms of assists, just not doing that well. But Rashford at the bottom, 1.36 as well. In terms of XG, Ollie's way out in front, 11. Duran is 5, but he's gone to Saudi. But his 5.11 might stay, keep him in second for the majority of the season, considering we're already halfway through, and Rogers was the next best, only at 3.67. Tillemans, McGinn, Amadou Onana, Ross Barkley. I forgot he played for them, actually, Ross Barkley. Rashford's only 1.6. Bailey and Ramsey as well. So Daniel Malen obviously hasn't played in the Premier League, so his stats won't be here. These are from the Premier League site. Expect him to do some... I would expect him to get some returns, but it's just depending on how they play. He can play anywhere across the front, so he can support Rogers and Watkins and Rashford if that's how they set up. But interesting stats there. Watkins dominates the XG, Tillemans the XA. Rogers is up there in both, but the only issue with Rogers is sometimes is a little bit all fart no poo, so we don't get his returns. Speaking of Daniel Malen, this is his breakout season last year. 13 goals, 1 assist in the Bundesliga, 19 and 5 all up. So 24 goal involvements from 48 games. So 0.5 per game, which is pretty good. We can see from his heat map there, courtesy of SofaScore, that's this season. He's pretty much gone right across the park. he's kicked off a lot, but he's gone right across the park, specifically in the middle. So it depends on how Villa are going to utilize him moving forward. I think he might drop into the 10 position, which could impact Rodgers. That being said, why would you stop Rodgers? He's playing so well. Ollie Watkins has obviously been the 9. Marcus Rashford loves the left. Maybe Rodgers can slot to the right or Mellon to the right. But as you can see with Mellon's heat map there, it leans towards the left. So you'd expect him to be either the left wing or left forward, you'd think. It's hard to say. But he had a breakout season last year. This year, it's a good pickup from Villa. I think he's in his mid-20s, so he's in the peak of his career, you'd say. So it should be very interesting to see. I will keep an eye on him. He's automatically on my watch list. Marcus Rashford. So I've got his stats up from 2 years ago, but that heat map is from this season. And as we can see, he fangs it down the left quite often. He's got a bit on the right, but famously he doesn't like playing on the right, so it's a bit difficult. So 2 years ago was the season where everyone had him after the World Cup, and he got 17 league goals and 5 assists. 34 goals all up in all comps. That includes the internationals. That was pretty impressive. But he just needs to recover that form, I think. He's just a patchy player. He's always had the really good potential on and off the pitch, but he's just a bit of a patchy player. As we can see from the fixture ticker, they got Southampton from 32. Just looking towards the end of the season, where I think both Rashford and Daniel Mellon will be embedded properly into the team. They got a double on 33 of Newcastle and Manchester City. But if they're playing really well, if they're as a unit, then I think they can do some damage there. Then they finish off with Fulham, Bournemouth, Tottenham, and Manchester United. Tough fixtures, but I think they can get through them, especially considering the offensive talents they currently have there. Be interesting to see how they set up, but the 4 of them are definitely on my watch list. Also, Marco Asensio. He's come from PSG. He's played at Real Madrid before. He plays right across the top as well, but I think at his age, in his late 20s, early 30s, I believe, he should be playing in behind the striker. So they've got a lot of options there. It might mean John McGinn doesn't get as much game time, which most people will be happy with. We'll see how they go, see what Emery does. I think they've made this intent in the transfer window because they want that Champions League place again, and they want to do well in the Cups as well. So for me, for Aston Villa, it would be, so just going back to this slide, for me, for Aston Villa right now, it will be Morgan Rodgers, which I'll be looking at. But if it was 3 or 4 weeks away, maybe game week 30, then I'd consider Mellon or Rashford. But I'll let you make your own decision there. That being said, transfers we've got this week don't always have to be based on double game week players because it's only for 1 game week. I've picked out Arsenal, Bournemouth, Brentford, and Crystal Palace here because I think they've got some good fixtures coming out for the next 5 or 6 game weeks. Specifically, Kluivert and Mbeumo, Eberechi Eze, and Odegaard, purely because they're all midfielders, and that's what I'm looking at. So in the XA columns, we can see that Mbeumo's 4th. He's really the only one that's on there, to be fair. So the XA from Mbeumo is 5.48. He trails Cole Palmer, who's now overtaken Mo Salah. So it's time for Cole Palmer to start giving us those returns. In terms of XG, Kluivert's 3rd and Mbeumo's 5th. And that's all. Eze's not there. He's been injured, and so is Odegaard. You'd expect that. But in points, Mbeumo's 3rd, Kluivert's 4th. So they're very close, those two. Kluivert's cheaper. He is dramatically increasing in price, so we'll give him that much. I think Mbeumo's close to 8, and Kluivert's he's 7 now, so or 5.9. Sorry, I think he's actually rolled over to 6. So he's getting up there, but it's still 6 million. Look at Arsenal's fixtures though: Leicester, West Ham. Then they've got a tough one: Forest, United, and Chelsea, Fulham. But after 32, it comes really good. Interestingly enough, Bournemouth, it's almost good enough to double up in their midfield. Just the question is, where do you go, Otara or Semenyo, to complement Kluivert? Southampton, Wolves, Brighton, Tottenham, they can score on all those games. Then they've got Brentford, Ipswich, West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace. So a great run there. Brentford have a good run up until 29 and then not so great. All of these players playing 29 in the blank, which is good. So we've got West Ham, Leicester, Everton, Villa, and Bournemouth. So that Bournemouth-Brentford one, you could almost have both and then just transfer Brentford away after 30 when they've got a tough run of Newcastle, Chelsea, and Arsenal. Crystal Palace, they're on currently a really good run now. They've got Everton, Fulham, Villa, and Ipswich. They've got a tough one in 29 against Newcastle. But you'd expect either Eze or Mateta to score. But after that, they've got Southampton, which is the plum fixture, away to Southampton. Everyone wants to go there because they do leak a lot of goals. So these 4 are also on my watch list for this coming game week because all of them have green fixtures, at least for the next 2 and potentially for the next 5 as well. Let's have a look at, is it the right side? Yes, let's have a look at what I will probably line up as in game week 25. I haven't pulled the trigger yet because there's still a whole bunch of cup games to go early next week. So I would recommend you not pulling the trigger just yet. But I've brought in Rodgers and Cliver into the team. So I've used 2 free transfers. Rodgers, as you can see there in the middle, has Ipswich and Liverpool both at home. You can see I've got Slot. This will be the second week of him in my assistant managership. I've benched Chris Wood away to Fulham. I think we can contain him. He scores a lot of goals, but I wouldn't say he scores like big goals every week. So he's got his hat trick. I expect him to go quiet for 1 week, and then I might bring him back. See how he goes. My concern is defense. As you can see, I've got Hall on the bench, who's away to City, so I expect them to score. I've got Masraoui on the bench, who's away to Tottenham. He needs to go. I've got Vandenberg for Brentford away to West Ham. That's a gamble. And so is Murillo away to Fulham. That's a bit of a gamble. Everton's Munoz at home is one I expect him to get some points. But if I want Rodgers and I want Kluivert, if I had to do a defender, I'll be taking a hit. And how many points do I really expect for a defender? Has to be over 4 just to be in credit. So I don't really see the point. I'm happy to get a 1 or 2 from Murillo and Vandenberg and then just not take the hit, to be fair. Because next week I will be probably bringing in, for McAllister, I'll be bringing in Mbuemo, and then I think the defender fixtures get a bit better. So that's my team. I've got the 2 transfers locked in on FPL team. If you're not using that, you're missing out. So I'd suggest using FPL team. That's what I'm using. Rodgers and Kluivert, I think they will be good. I think they were taken out for Anthony Gordon, who I took out, and who was the other guy that I took out? Oh, Ahmad from Manchester United. As good as he's been, his fixtures turn a little bit, and I'd rather have Kluivert and Rodgers for this little start. Depends on if Rodgers gets injured, then I might just save the transfer and go Dean Huijsen from Bournemouth. But if Rodgers or Kluivert aren't injured, they're probably coming into my team. So that's how it'll be. A bit controversial to bench Chris Wood, but I can't bench Mateta or Isaac. They're both playing so well. I forecasted a little bit to blank game week 29. You can see the fixture ticker there on the right. So Bournemouth, Brentford, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, and Wolves. So the reason why I've got that there is forecasting from 25 to 29, fixtures turn for all of these clubs. Whether they turn straight away or they turn around about 28 is a little bit different. But Bournemouth and Brentford, they're turning straight away in 25, right? Palace will be gone by then. By 28, I'd say. That'll be their last game. Yes, I've got Southampton in 30, but I think I can just get rid of them in 29 and then just take the loss at what they would have scored away to Southampton. Wolves are back. So by game week 28, we can see down there they've got a nice run of green pretty much till the end of the season. Important thing is they play in 29. So they've got Everton, Southampton, West Ham, Ipswich, a really good solid 4 there. And then I've got Tottenham, Manchester United, and then I've got Leicester in 34. So I've brought in Ryan Aitnori and Matheus Cunha to the team, and Mateta's gone and Munoz is gone. For Bournemouth, Dean Huijsen is there, so I would have brought him in by then. I've kept the Manchester United guys. Ahmad's come back into the team when their fixtures get better, but he's got Leicester. That could always be someone else. This is just a thought process here. Salah and Isaac are season keep, so they're on the bench. As you can see, they haven't got any fixtures that week, but I think I'm going to keep them for the rest of the season. That might be me being stubborn and missing out on someone's really good go. Marmoush is on my radar, and as I said, the Aston Villa team. But interestingly enough, I think whilst Palace does pretty good in 28, I need to get rid of them in 29. So that's the big bugbear for me. I've got Fabianski. I put him in my wildcard 21. Turns out he's not needed anymore by his team. So that's a bit of a pain in the butt. But there you go. Wood and Murillo stay in the team because I think Forest are just class. They will continue to play. And Pickford stays there too, pretty much right up until I think it was 33 or 34 when they have City, and I might get another keeper if I need to for the run in. But that's how my blank game week 29 team would look. I've got 3 blankers, 3 blank wankers. I got Murillo, Mazraoui, at Nori, Houston. I'm doing back 4. First time I've ever done back 4 this season, I believe, unless it was automatically done. I don't really like back 4, but there you go. Mbuemo is the chosen captain. That could always change. Ahmad, Palmer, Kluivert, Wood, and Cunha. As you can see, there's no Arsenal here. So that could be an oversight. I could always change like a Mazraoui or a Murillo, change them up to, or a Hall, change it up to one of the Arsenal players, and potentially Palmer could go to Saka for this little run. But the lead up to 29 with Palmer looks pretty good. It's Brighton, it's Villa. Then you got Southampton and Leicester, both at home. Arsenal, Tottenham, Brentford, Ipswich, and then he's got a double in 33. So, yeah, I can't really get rid of him. Saka might have to wait. Hopefully there's someone else who shows up before then. Thank you very much for tuning in. That's all I had for today. Let me know how your Double Game Week 25 plans are going. Hopefully it's a stress-free environment, and you're looking forward. This is a blank game week. This weekend, there's no footy on, so just relax. Take a week off because it's going to be a hectic run-in. Over the next couple of months, it's going to be quite stressful. If you thought Double Game Week 24 was stressful with the late announcement, expect those to happen, maybe not as frequently but and as late towards the deadline, but expect those to happen a few times over the next few weeks, which I'll try and keep abreast of and let people know, or you can let me know. That'll be good. So I hope all your arrows are green and your differential score hat tricks. My name's Luke, FPL Crusader. Thank you very much.